So the CEO of Ford just said that this morning when he woke up there were 6,000 car repair bays empty across the United States. Not because they didn't have parts, but because they didn't have the mechanics. He referred to them as technicians, but let's face it, the word is mechanics. And when he was asked about why is this, he said a number of things. The jobs aren't as glamorous as white-collar jobs from college. Well, by glamorous, do you mean well paid? He said there's any amount of regulations and licenses that people hold, but that's surely just training. If you fail to train your staff, then you painted yourself into that corner. And then the other thing that he said was that the productivity has not kept up with white-collar jobs. In fact, the productivity in the last 20 years has fallen. Now, is he talking about the productivity of fixing cars? Because it's fair to say that in the last 20 years, cars have become significantly more complex. And if you look at book times on things and then go, that's what I'm measuring productivity against, you'll never hit that.
Why are mechanics leaving the industry?
There's a few different reasons. One, because they're getting old.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad!
A lot of really good mechanics are getting the age of retirement. The second reason is that this is an industry that taxes the body.
Technician shortage, huh? Wonder why. Can't get new techs. Can't retain techs. Well, maybe we should all take a look at that Voice of the Technician survey that just recently came out. Wrenchway.com put this survey out. A percentage of technicians took it. Definitely not all of them. But this industry is quickly losing fantastic technicians. Can't get new technicians. Social media isn't helping because all the ones that are disgruntled are talking about it. And it's good. I don't want them to hide what they feel, what they think. Like, it's in a rough place. And this survey is the enlightenment to what's going on. Now, sure, we could talk about all the vision and all the lights it's shining on pain points, but what we need is action. We can talk about what this and that, but what's getting done about it? Dealerships, a few dealerships, because that's all I know, are working and building internally on technician structures that actually support and develop techs. Now, it's not a perfect system. It doesn't work perfect every time, but what it does is it creates a support structure. It teaches technicians how to succeed, and then it works with them on the pay structure or labor rate or however they're getting paid so that they don't just drop off a cliff and in 2 years they're $10,000 in tool debt and they're leaving the industry because there's 3 cars to work on a day. Now, the flat rate system, boy, we talk about that one for a while. Flat rate is great when there's cars to work on. But when there's not, you've got too many techs and not enough cars. You got standing around. Sure, slow season. Been doing this for 15 years. Slow season is whatever, the same time of year every time. But why are the technicians taking a hit on that? Why are the people doing the manual labor taking a hit on warranty times? I didn't design this car. I didn't put this thing together. I just have to fix it because that's what I enjoy doing. It's what I chose to do. It's what I love to do. And then I get paid 3/10 to replace a mirror housing. That isn't my fault. I didn't do that. I think it's really time that we work together as an industry and start fixing these things. Stop talking about it. Stop just talking about it and let's do something. And dealership groups, owner groups, managers, sure. I mean, the ball's in your court. Let's work together.
What really gets me is that these guys actually love the work. They're not complaining about fixing cars. They're complaining about a system that punishes them for doing the job right. Big difference.
All right, so there's a nationwide shortage of technicians, automotive technicians, no matter what brand it is. People just don't want to do this anymore. And I'm going to show you right now why there's a nationwide shortage of automotive technicians, especially at the dealership level. Let me show you exactly why. So this right here is the labor time for removing an HVAC assembly, the heater box inside the vehicle. We have an evaporator leak. and the AC doesn't work. And this is the labor time from, I believe, All Data. I don't know if this thing will ever focus. Right there, All Data pays 13.5 hours. See that? 13.5 hours labor to remove the HVA assembly. Why don't this thing want to focus? And then this is the warranty labor time from Nissan. 4.8. They want me to do that HVAC assembly for 4.8 hours when All Data is saying that it takes like 3 times as much as the warranty time, 13.5. So many of you may not know how technicians get paid. We get paid by the job. If a job pays 2 hours, then we'll get 2 hours no matter how long it takes us to complete that job. Our hourly rate may be $40 an hour. We may get paid $40 an hour, $50 an hour, and we'll only get 2 hours worth of that time to do that job. If it takes us 3 hours, then we'll still get 2 hours for that. So this is the reason, this is exactly the reason why nobody wants to do this anymore.
Interesting how people can turn whatever you say into whatever they want to hear. One of the main problems for the tech shortage is money. End of story. It's money. Now, have techs started disencouraging people from joining the trade? Yes, because we don't want other people to get screwed until this problem gets solved. If we don't have a good shortage, it's not going to get solved. The thing is, the population, people cannot afford to get their cars fixed. And especially if you go to a billion-dollar company, like you look at it from the outside, it looks like you're walking into frickin' Microsoft, but it's just a dealership, because that's where you're going to pay $200, $300 for mechanical labor. And honestly, I see it's way easier to fix mechanic rates than to fix auto body rates. And from what I've gathered, mechanics at smaller shops that are not a billion-dollar company or a billion-dollar building, they're making good money. Well, the ones that don't work on warranty jobs. But still, Toyota and Honda and Ford, they can afford to make a little less money to pay their techs, the people that actually keeps their machines running. Because these CEOs can make $1 billion instead of $2 billion. But for body shops, for auto body shops, it's hard. It's hard because the insurance dictates how much they pay you. But okay, if the insurance wants to increase the rate for the shop, that means the rate is going to go up for the consumer. Again, we fall back into the same loophole. So if they increase the rates, the cars cost more to repair, so we get more totaled cars. So I think we just capped out. I think we capped out on insurance rates, on insurance work for collision repair. I think we capped out. I don't think we can get any higher than what it is right now. Because more cars are going to get totaled. We're going to have less customers. People are not going to pay out of pocket, because I've seen some body shops trying to upcharge the customer about whatever the insurance didn't charge. I think it's not really fair for the customer too. So I really don't know what to do about this. That's why I opened my own shop. Overhead is very low. Me and just 2 guys here. And we'll make good money. We'll make good money. And one of the people that I worked for before is on here, on Facebook, commenting. So you're telling me, let me see you in 2 years and see how you're going to be doing. You can't compare me to millions and billion-dollar companies. You can't, even in 2 years. You can't. You can't. You simply can't. I can't afford to pay an ATEC. I don't need an ATEC. I am the ATEC. That's why I have an apprentice, basically, and I can afford to pay an apprentice, and I will teach him. Yes, I can't afford to have an ATEC. That's why I will never hire an ATEC, because, hey, I'm here.
This is a hard job. Lots of guys get hurt doing this job. There's a lot of addiction, a lot of substance abuse, a lot of abusive and mental health issues in this industry.
I feel like I need to have some sort of counseling, because I don't have a lot of people to talk to about, but situations that have happened, more recently and stuff like that, trauma.
It's tough, man.
So just trying to deal with that stuff that affects you.
Nothing fixes a labor shortage quite like bullying the new hires out of the building. Really strategic problem solving there. Low pay, expensive tools, mean coworkers, nobody teaching you anything. That's the entry-level experience. Would you stay? Can't wait to see how it plays out in 10 years when there's literally nobody left.
Why is it that we lose most of our automotive technicians in the first 6 to 12 months of entry-level employment? A lot of people tend to think that we're losing the technicians that have been in the game for a long time. They're leaving for other industries. They're saying, I'm out of automotive. And to some degree, that's true, but that's not the vast majority. What we're seeing in the industry right now is a bunch of senior technicians and a bunch of junior technicians, but there's not much going on in between. This is very dangerous for us because eventually those senior technicians are going to go away, and then those junior technicians are going to be making it to that middle section, and we won't have those senior technicians anymore. And we need those senior technicians to teach the trade to the junior technicians. That's why the technician shortage is so crazy. But while we're losing those senior technicians to retirement and operational turnover, and we don't have those middle people to replace it, we're also losing the junior technicians in droves. This is where we're really losing the most amount of people in this technician shortage, which is right about 800,000 strong. So why are we losing junior technicians more than anybody else? Well, there's a lot of factors at play. First of all, pay is extremely low. I can go make at Wendy's what I can make changing oil at a dealership for the most part right now. On top of that, tools are rather expensive. When you're starting out as a junior technician, you don't have money to buy tools, so how do you get a job that requires you to have tools? You have to finance them, and that financing is also very expensive. On top of that, there's nobody telling these junior technicians which tools they need to buy compared to which tools they do not need to buy, and then they make mistakes that way and overfinance tools that they don't actually need. Those are all reasons, but I really want to focus in on this. Culture. There is such a thing called gatekeeping in the automotive industry. Whenever you see a junior technician move into the main shop, that middle section, and they start earning flat rate, those senior technicians get concerned. They see that as competition. They see that as another mouth to feed. They see that as someone else that's going to absorb flat rate hours, something that they all covet and value greatly. And so what do? They refuse to offer information. They refuse to offer tips and tricks. They refuse to offer their experience, extend that olive branch, and help those junior technicians that are making their way through the industry to become those senior technicians. They do what's called gatekeeping. On top of that, we also have junior technicians in that middle zone making mistakes, which is totally fine. They're going to make mistakes. But then we have the senior technicians that disparage that. Sometimes you'll see senior technicians making fun of those junior technicians, telling them they're not going to make it in the industry, talking about how dumb they are, why can't you figure that out, how are you this stupid? And then those junior technicians, they're afraid to even ask questions. That guy made fun of me last time I made a mistake. They made fun of me last time I asked a question. They said it was a stupid question. And then they don't want to ask questions, and then they don't want to learn because they can't learn from anybody because the people they're supposed to be learning from disparages them and gatekeeps. This is even worse. They find out that those senior technicians talked about them behind their back. Maybe they're in the parts counter and the parts counter person says, all those senior technicians were just talking about you in here and it wasn't good. That puts something in their mind and says, maybe this isn't the place for me. Maybe this isn't the job for me. Maybe this isn't the industry for me. Maybe I'm not cut out for this, and then they leave. So there's a lot of factors at play with the technician shortage. And I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of factors that we cannot control. The industry as a whole has a lot of things that we could fix, flat rate warranty and leadership among them. But there's a lot of things that we could be doing at our level to make this industry better as far as this technician shortage goes. We could stop the gatekeeping. We could stop the negative culture. We could help each other. We could extend that olive branch, and we could encourage people and help them with their tool purchasing needs, their questions, their comments, their concerns, how to grow in this career, how did I get to my level, and how you can do it too. There's a lot of things that we could be doing at our level to help heal this technician shortage. So we have a choice to make. We can either be bitter and say the industry did this, so I'm going to be part of the problem and not help these junior technicians succeed, or we can say I'm going to be a part of the solution, and in spite of the industry doing what it's done to us, I'm going to do my part to help these junior technicians, these junior advisors, these entry-level people in our industry. I'm going to help them succeed in this landscape that's not fair, but it is what it is, and I'm going to help them succeed. I can be part of the solution, or I can be part of the problem.
Shortage of technicians? Let's talk about why. Shortage of techs, you're looking for that super tech, and guess what? He's probably either already established or you lost one already because you couldn't pay him correctly, or your establishment is trash, or maybe those false promises that you got him, those raises that you said you were going to give him, and then, oh my gosh, please don't leave. And guess what? Wheels his toolbox on out of there. We know that this industry has changed over the years. We know that owners bought out certain businesses and stuff like that, and technicians are being treated like trash. A lot of them, the good ones, got out of the industry, and now you're trying to mold the new ones that are up and coming, which is fine. So you're trying to get that make that super tech. I'm pretty sure a lot of dealerships out there had that great tech, and guess what? They got a better offer somewhere else, and you couldn't keep it. You got some techs that you're interviewing and they can't diagnose worth of crap, and oh my gosh, I can't find the right technician. You got to start taking care of the ones that you have. And I'm not talking about the ones that lie and then they have 10 comebacks and then they're wondering why they're not getting hours. No, not those. I'm talking about the ones that you know that need to be kept.
Bro, nothing kills loyalty faster than a broken promise about money. Nothing. You can deal with a lot of bad stuff at a job, but the second your boss lies to you about a raise, you're done. You're already looking. You're already planning the exit. And the owner never sees it coming somehow.
Why are technicians struggling to turn hours in 2026? Well, I'll tell you right now, it's not flat rate. Though flat rate has something to do with it. Let me tell you my experience as a service advisor across 4 dealerships. In every single one of those dealerships, we're talking 2 different regions in the United States, different demographics, some luxury, some not. I did imports, domestic, I did all of it. I received very minimal job training across all 4 of those dealerships. As a matter of fact, only one dealership kind of showed me the ropes a little bit. But I already had some background. I was a former technician. I got 2 degrees in automotive. I was kind of good to go. I watched service manager after service manager just hire so many people off the street, different backgrounds, which I'm totally cool with, and then literally just give them 0 job training, give them a clipboard, a login, and they're writing tickets for technicians. These are people that maybe never worked in automotive before. Maybe they're people that worked in other dealerships and had bad habits. Maybe there were people that just didn't understand what they were doing, didn't know customer service. Either way, they didn't know those things, and they also didn't know how this shop works. They were writing up the craziest tickets you've ever seen. They didn't know what to charge for anything. They didn't understand how flat rate worked. They didn't know any of it. And their manager was not training them. Those are the people that are connecting technicians to customers. Those are the people that are selling the hours for the technician. Those are the people representing the technician to the customer, and they're completely untrained for the most part. There is a reason why that statistically speaking, 50% of service advisors turn over year after year because they're unsupported, they're untrained, they're losing, and they don't know why. And it's their service managers that are failing them in that regard. And when your service manager is failing your service advisor, they're also failing the technicians by proxy. So if you have a service manager that says, I'm all about my techs, I want to take care of my technicians, I'm constantly in the shop, I'm hanging out with the guys and the girls, yeah, I got you guys, but they're also not taking care of your service advisors, training them to do the right thing and helping them to represent you as a technician to your customer in a more effective way, they're failing you.
So let's add it all up. Mechanics underpaid. Juniors bullied out. Seniors leaving for better offers. Advisors untrained and quitting at 50% a year. Every single link in this chain is snapping at the same time. And somehow, everyone's surprised the whole thing is falling apart. This isn't a shortage, it's a collapse in slow motion. The industry built a system where nobody in it actually wants to be there, and now they're shocked nobody's showing up?